What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is mrboat. The map is Watering Hole, and we get to see yet another top player trying their hand at the god that is Set. Oh, I'm excited to see this one. There's a lot of problems which Set needs to overcome in order to grab themselves Hunt here. And Ulysses is going to be getting greeted very early. And I love how unlucky can one man be? mrboat was an inch away from absolutely brutalizing Ulysses' greed here. An inch away. I'm gonna tell you guys the secret to never ever losing against, never ever having your priest get pushed off Hunt again by one Ulfsark or one Katoskopos. The secret is, you see the Hunt in your main base, these hippopotamus, convert one, bring the hippopotamus to the center of the map and start converting your elephant. Case solved. Problems have been overcome. You never have to roll the dice ever again. Everyone's happy because you get to utilize your main god's unique ability. But we do see that Ulysses here will get himself an elephant, and now there is no way to push Ulysses off of this position, though it looks like Ulysses might be bringing that elephant back to defend. Nope, he's going to be pushing this scaling back here, and all things are good. And they send a villager to kill it. Well, they can do that, and then you run away because you know that your opponent has lost a lot of resources to do that, and you're happy with that trade. As we do see the double Ulfsarks coming in here. And this is the other thing. If you only got one elephant here, you're not going to be able to hold this position. And the priest's going to have to retreat back. Unfortunately, Set players cry because while mrboat here for the remainder of this game is going to be able to utilize his special abilities for everything, Ulysses is going to have to wait to use his because he's lost a lot of HP on this priest, having to retreat all the way back home here. Another option, which is a very, very safe option, which I personally enjoy as well as a Set player, is instead of running to the center of the map to grab these elephant at the start of the game, you can actually just move over here and grab some zebra, move them into your main base and eat them to find another advantage there as well. As the elephant now back home, mrboat has won out nicely here with his early game, and we'll see what Ulysses is going to come up with here with his Set. Trying to throw up the temple here. Now, I do comment all the time on Set players having inefficient builds, and as you can see, two villagers building a temple here makes that temple cost significantly more, and Ulysses is aiming for a 4:30 advance time, it seems, with 0 monuments. And you guys already know, so I'm not going to say it. You guys already know. Let me know in the chat what you already know. Just let me know in the chat, because you already know. House is now coming up for mrboat, as he's going to be going through Freya, and we see Ptah coming through here for Ulysses. At least he has the extra houses. Exactly. That's one thing that Ulysses does have here, is he's also got up extra houses. This is different to my builder. I wouldn't have these houses up yet. So, yeah. As we do see over on this position, Ulysses still trying to get these elephant here. I'm pretty sure the Skraeling can come in and cause some problems here yet again. That's only a 32 HP priest here. The question is, will the elephant get converted before the Skraeling can take this one out? Or has, maybe mrboat hasn't seen that, but he could definitely attempt to take the priest out there as well and prevent that elephant from being converted here. I'm surprised to see Ulysses putting so much effort into getting these elephants. Elephants are a very, very strong animal to have in your army. It's probably the best animal to have, but they do cost a lot of population. 4 population for an elephant. So it's not like it's that amazing, as we do see Ulysses using the shifting. I love it. Yes. Yeah, shifting sands to take a town center. Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely. Not only does he take a town center, but he takes the best town center on the map. Both town centers are actually really nice. You got Elephant over here. You got all the good stuff. We do see the Gazelle getting deleted on this position. But look at this. 3 hippopotamus. 3 hippopotamus. 2 elephant. Oof! As the town center is now up, Mr. Boat will have to retreat back. He does not yet have himself any military buildings up. And it looks like to me, he's looking to grab himself a town center here. As we've got the hyena on the top side of the map here. We got the double barracks coming up again for Ulysses. And Ulysses might be trying... personally, I don't think going for a double barracks here is worth it. Build 1 barracks, make some axemen, and try and deny that top town center in case Mr. Boat is trying to rush that one. It's a good option, but generally speaking here, just go to the heroic age after this kind of a start from Ulysses, and you're going to be completely fine. We do see Mr. Boat, though. He might be going for some Njord shenanigans here. Look at the food. Look at the gold. Look at the wood. We see an armory coming up here. It's going to be very spicy. We can only hope. Njord most likely coming through here for Mr. Boat. He might go Skadi, but Njord is the better option here for a timing attack to take out this location, which Ulysses has claimed here. And Ulysses is really enjoying this with the town center. He's making himself some spearmen, some axemen. The big difficulty for Set to deal with a Njord timing attack is the walking woods being myth units and the mountain giant and all the other stuff that comes out. The problem for Mr. Boat is how fast can he actually hit this this timing attack? We do see some raiding cavalry coming in here, and I think I celebrated too soon. As the armory upgrade is up, but units are coming out. So we'll see what's going to happen here. Mr. Boat does have plenty of hunt over on this position. His food is still motoring up here as we do see the villagers getting raided here. Nice find by Mr. Boat. He's going to try and snipe this labor as it's making a dart for the tower, and it looks like it will get sniped down. Nice play there from Mr. Boat as the villager's going to have to retreat back home here at this point. We do see the army of Ulysses is mounting. He's keeping his resources nice and low here. He's going to be breaking through that gate as the raiding cavalry throwing axemen coming out here as well beautifully. And look at the value right now that Ulysses is getting out of this town center. Not only does he have all of this hunt here, but also the Pharaoh empowering this. That's 14 villages he's empowering with the Pharaoh. Generally speaking, Set players, or not Set players, but Egyptian players in general, they only empower like a gold mine with 10 villages or a granary with 8 villages on it or something like that oftentimes. But this is going to keep getting more and more villages. He does lose the villages. There should have been 15. But this town center is going to keep being value here for Ulysses. Max value for Ulysses with that Pharaoh helping out. So while you see 34 villages versus 27, with the Pharaoh empowering this, it's kind of increasing these villages up by like 3 at this point, maybe. And it's going to keep going up. So he's just got such a huge advantage here. As the house is getting broken down, Skadi is coming through here for Mr. Boat. Mr. Boat is in a woeful position here. He didn't get himself watchtowers to defend himself. Instead, Longhouse is coming down and he's going to put more houses down here. Oh dear. If you got watchtowers, I don't think any of this would have happened. Is the elephant of Set here? I didn't know that. So an elephant, an animal converted, doesn't get the minus 50% bonus damage. The minus 50% reduction in damage to buildings that an animal of Set does. Like an animal created from the Pharaoh does. Wait, did he not get his... Okay, he did get his okay, cool. So that's huge. Now, one thing here that Mr. Boat can simply do, and I would recommend doing this at this point here for Mr. Boat, is just frost this army, kill this army off with your army. If you don't do this, then life is going to be very tough. You need to find an economic advantage here of some variety, leveling the playing field, because Ulysses' economy is now booming to the highest reaches of the galaxy. And if you don't hit this here and you don't get a whole bunch of damage, then he's also got forest fire, right? So he could frost forest fire after the units expire here if they get stuck on this forest here. We do see the units pushing out here to drop a hill fort in the middle of the map here for some reason. Not sure exactly what's happening there. The hay fever is hitting. As the stray pharaoh does get found in the middle of the map here, but Mr. Boat not paying attention doesn't manage to actually hit that one there. As the units over here for Mr. Boat still waiting, watching, wondering. As the army here kind of spreading itself out now, hitting some villagers on this wood line as Mr. Boat needs to retreat away. Ulysses is playing this one very, very nicely at this point. As the raiding cavalry coming in here to try and get the damage done. That elephant there is still 230 HP of pure brawn here. 7.2 damage per second. Such a huge unit to have in the army at this point. As we do see a forest fire getting dropped down, Ulysses is going to be retreating back for the time being as a hill fort trying to get shot up there as the pharaoh gets taken out. These villagers over here still getting cleaned up by Ulysses' raid here as Mr. Boat has to retreat back to the home base. There's really not that many good forests here for Mr. Boat to grab at this time. As the hill fort now up, watchtowers coming through. And Ulysses is getting a little bit of damage done onto this temple here. Mr. Boat grabbed himself watchtowers now. The big problem for this is that Mr. Boat's gold mine is about to be expired. He can move up to this gold mine over here, though, which is a bit of a difficult position there for Ulysses to raid. As the raiders coming in to try and take out these units, and we do finally see the frost down, but this is something we see quite a bit from Mr. Boat. If you compare the frost usage of what Rappel does versus what Mr. Boat has done here, whenever Rappel uses his frost, it's always with a full population army. And he just says, I'm just going to trade my frost here for a guaranteed damage. He wants the guaranteed damage to take out the army. Ulysses here will most likely lose a lot of these units. But look at this, 85 population for Mr. Boat. He needs some houses down. He doesn't have any. He also has lost his temple, so he can't make himself those frost giants, which are vitally important here. Meanwhile, Ulysses, you see eating the elephant up here. He's on the elephants over here with 15 villagers on that location there as well. The villager differential here is absolutely gigantic as well. But the technology advantage is real here for Mr. Boat. You have to remember that the Egyptian here of Ulysses is still stuck in the classical age. He's got a lot of food. His gold mine is exposed. So with this technological advantage, the fact that he's got Huskal, he's got the medium raiders, should be able to get a little bit of an advantage back here. As now we see their houses coming down over here. The problem is that Mr. Boat, he needs to act now. He needs to act fast. Copper shields coming through. Medium infantry coming through. Ulysses 124 of 130 population here. Plenty of units on the map here, with the priest also out to help to try and take down the frost giant. We'll see how things are going to go as the raiders split off from the army. A pharaoh coming back in to help out yet again for Ulysses. As Mr. Boat has to retreat back, we do see that the Raven is spotting this location. Ulysses dropping a whole bunch of mining camps over here. He does have himself shaft mine and hand axe, so he's got all the upgrades that a set player actually needs in the world here at the moment. You might laugh at me and say, what about all the other ones? Well, Set really only needs those 3 upgrades. And 4 upgrades. 5 upgrades. Husbandry, hunting dogs, hand axe, and shaft mine. Everything else doesn't matter. As the villagers do turn around, take the fight. This is a completely fine thing for Ulysses to do because he has such a crazy advantage in terms of the villagers. As the spearmen are going to come over here and try and deal with this. But Nephthys now on the way here for Ulysses as the villager differential. 30 villagers here. Into 30 villager advantage here for Ulysses at this point. Ulysses also plenty of resources in the bank to just spam everything out as Ulysses gets caught out of position here ever so slightly as the army pushes forward. There will be an ancestors available for Ulysses to use very freely here in this game. Meanwhile, villagers on this position grabbing this gold mine. Surprised to see the elephant not getting eaten here as we do have a whole bunch of villagers on the goats in the main base for Mr. Boat at this position. As Mr. Boat still searching around, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can done as the villagers retreating away from this location. Ancestors gets dropped down immediately. Medium axemen, medium slingers, copper mail coming through. Do we see our Migdol stronghold up anywhere here for Ulysses just yet? He is not going for that one. He could just simply go and stay. He could simply just stay on barracks units here, get himself heavy infantry, heavy axemen, heavy spearmen, heavy slingers here, and stay on classical on barracks units here. That's completely fine to do. We see a town center coming up over here for Ulysses to try and grab not only the 4-2 town center advantage, but also this elephant here is going to be able to get eaten very simply and easily as well. As the spearman getting caught out of position, Mr. Boat is getting a lot of free damage done, but Ulysses is going Horus here. He is going Horus. He's going 3 town centers. He's going full send at this point. 8 favor only in the bank right now for Ulysses. He doesn't have the favor at this point to get himself those Horus upgrades straight away, but he has managed to push Mr. Boat off of this gold, and that hurts Mr. Boat even more. Mr. Boat is still only 1 town center at this point, so every little bit of economic damage done to Mr. Boat is like you need to deal 2 times the damage onto Ulysses for it to be an equal affair after all is said and done. We'll see how things are going to go. There are still elephants over here. A market coming up in the corner for Mr. Boat. He still has the opportunity to potentially win with a Ragnarok at some point here. As Mr. Boat's now got plenty of those heavy Huskarl out. He's got a very strong army at this point, as the army of Ulysses is 127 of 145 population. He doesn't really have that many axemen in his army, and I think that Mr. Boat is kind of playing that nicely for himself here, as the Migdol stronghold coming up on this position. Is the army going to push through here? And Mr. Boat basically is going to have to take this fight here as his army runs through the Huskarl and need to kind of push in onto the back of those slingers, and he does manage to force Ulysses back yet again here as mercenaries starting to come out for Ulysses. Ulysses is finding himself in a little bit of a difficult position after all is said and done, but Horus has hit now for Ulysses, which means Rhinos of Set, Avengers, everything is available right now for Ulysses to use to kind of defend himself at this position. Not only that, we do see an attempt there for a spearman to get in onto that town center, which has been thwarted. Mr. Boat's still sitting full population here. He's completely cleaning the army of Ulysses in this game, as the Frost Giants trying to take out the Migdol stronghold here. More units coming through for Ulysses as he's going to try and hold on this position. The Axemen coming through here as well, as the army of Ulysses starting to move in onto this position to hold here. We'll see how he's going to go as the Avenger comes through to help defend himself. There's the Tornado onto this position, takes the houses down, opting to take the hill fort out instead of the town center here, as Mr. Boat losing those houses, losing the Migdol stronghold means he's not going to be able to get, not Migdol stronghold, hill fort, means he's not going to be able to get himself more Huskarl out, more strong units out. He has to rebuild his houses, he has to rebuild everything here, and that gives Ulysses the opportunity to be 4 town centers, get up to 80 villages, get himself feral here as well. Absolutely love that. Look at these Rhinoceros of Set. Only 189 HP, 12 damage. With feral, they get an extra, I believe it's 10%. Let me have a quick look of this. An extra 10% hit points, extra 10% reduction in vulnerability to hack and pierce, plus 20%, was it? 25% animal hack damage, which is huge. That's so much damage. So it's a vitally important upgrade for Set to grab once those animals of Set start coming through, if he wants to make them at all. As we do see a couple of hill forts, temple coming up in the main base here for Mr. Boat as well, as it seems like he's lost his temple. He's still sitting at like 100 favor here, as the Avengers coming through here to try and hit these units off of the off of the hill fort here. Mr. Boat in a difficult position here to say at the very least, but Ulysses, he doesn't have any siege out at this point, so there's still a little bit of opportunity here. Not only that, Mr. Boat here is managing to start himself a trade route, which I quite like, because he's only on 1 town center, so that's helping him get the economy back here in this game, as the hill fort will come up, and this might be enough to force Ulysses back for the time being. He does have a siege, works up. The catapult is coming through. Can Mr. Boat stabilize here and keep fighting in this game is the big question here. As we see a Migdol stronghold getting dropped down on the front here for Ulysses. Ulysses has got tons of priest here. Does he have himself funeral rites? No funeral rites just yet, as the Avenger does push through here. Going to get frozen in place. So Mr. Boat, he's got so much gold, but in that moment he does decide it's all over. He sees the catapult, the siege is in. He knows he's not going to be able to deal with that. The priests are out. He can't make tons of frost giants to push through here. And that ends up being Ulysses claiming a victory with his set here in this game. Love that shifting sands play to grab that town center. I don't know if we really talked about it, but one of the reasons why you do this is, one, the town center gets up faster because you don't have to walk to the town center. But two, your villagers, because they don't have to walk, you save resources. Really great way to play, really great way to push forward in the game. Mr. Boat got caught off guard so hard there. I think Mr. Boat wanted to grab that town center for himself in this game, but Ulysses grabbing it says, nope, that one's mine. You have to figure it out yourself. Elseways, Mr. Boat could have grabbed this town center for himself and taken a bit more of a boomy approach to this game, but he went for the fast heroic. Didn't get himself watchtowers. It took him too long to get to the heroic edge as well. Ulysses just kept Mr. Boat on the back foot for the entirety of this game. Mr. Boat almost managed to make it work here. If you actually take a look at the post game, this will really tell you a lot of the story. At this point, where the frost got put down, that's when the resources started going in the favor of Ulysses here in this game. That's a lot of advantage here that Mr. Boat had to try and find some sort of an advantage. And if you take a look at the military units, when the frost comes, the army falls down, gets pushed back up. All of this stuff is happening here. And Mr. Boat, he just needed to somehow convert his position to like work for himself here. Now, I like the idea of this market up later, where instead of going for a town center here, you go for a market, you get yourself trade early, you go for the Ragnarok. So really, I think it's a good idea off a one town center play. If you can't find yourself getting that second town center up, just to start a trade route, go for the Ragnarok as an idea. But you got to start it much earlier here than Mr. Boat did. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.